Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Menifee in California. Hope you're all having a super fantastic, sparkling, winning Wednesday. So what have you done today to celebrate your wins for the week, for the month? Whatever it is, what have you done to celebrate your small victories, your large victories, your in-between victories? We've had an awesome day here. We had to get glammed up a little bit because we had our media makeover mastery this morning, so we have to be camera ready when we're on there. So the sparkle top goes on, the goop goes on the face, the hair kind of looks better, but I have headphones on too, so that kind of covers a lot of what's going on with the hair. As long as this piece here looks okay and we're not sticking out like this at the back, well then we're doing good. And always show up with a smile, and always look happy and bright and sparkling and everything else. So how was your winning Wednesday? What did you learn today? I learned that I've been playing around on Canva, been learning a little bit about Canva today, and creating some awesome new designs in there. So I'm always looking to develop my skills. I was taking some tests today because I'm also starting to do some freelance work as well. So one of the sites I was on, they have like over 170 different tests to take. I have to tell you, some of those tests are like, what? You want me to figure out what? And you've got 40 minutes to do 40 questions. They're all multiple choice. And it was an IQ test. And I thought, well, this will be interesting. Interesting was the right word. They had a couple of anagrams in there where they had the letters mixed up and you had to unscramble them and put down whether it was the name of a bird, a book, a movie, or a geometry shape. Then they had like all these sequence things coming up. At one point my brain was so dead in doing these because, like I said, 40 minutes to do 40 of these questions. Some of these questions took a minute or two just to figure out what they were actually asking before you could even figure out what the answer was. And then they had things like these dots moving around inside a shape, but there wasn't just the big solid dot. When you look closely, there was a little tiny dot in there that you couldn't quite see, and that was moving in the opposite direction. And then there was all these sequence things to do with numbers and letters, and I was like, I am so dead. And one of them I just looked at, and usually I'm really good at logic. I love logic puzzles, you know, those ones that turn around and like they had one there that was really easy to figure out. I mean, genealogist here. A is B's sister, C is B's mother, what relationship is D? Oh no, and C is D's wife. What relationship is D to B? Father, of course. That's simple. I mean, that was just like a no-brainer. But then they had other ones that had these letter sequence thingies in there, and I just looked. One of them I just looked at and I went, and it was just like gobbledygook on the screen. I couldn't even tell you what the sequence was. I couldn't even figure out the sequence. So I just went, okay, I got 4 options, 1 in 4 chance of getting this right. Pick one. So I did. But surprisingly enough, on that IQ test, I got a 78, which would put me in the 93 percentile? Yeah, 93 percentile, I think it was. Hang on. I'm going back here to have a look. Sorry, I had a 75% score. The average is 41, and it put me in the 93% percentile for this IQ test that they did. I was like, this is nuts. Fortunately, I like logical puzzles and I like figuring out sequences and things, but some of those were just tough. And like I said, there's a couple my brain just looked at it and it was like gobbledygook on the screen. It's like, pick a letter, A, B, C, or D. So got to do that. Then I went and took a delicious nap. Oh, it was awesome because my brain has been fried the last few days. There's been a lot of stuff packed into my head. I had a 4.5-hour training session on Monday, had another 1.5 hours Monday night. Plus I was staying in an area where the low temperature overnight was 82. And as most of you know, I don't do well in heat, and the day temperatures have been in the 120s. Or have been 120 was the forecasted temperature. It actually got a little higher, and on the warmest day it was 122. But felt like 120. Go figure. And very low humidity, so drinking copious amounts of water. And then of course, when you're drinking that much amount of water, you got to get up in the middle of the night and go pee like every hour or 2 hours or something. So there's no chance for sleep. So basically I had 5 nights of no sleep, 5 hot days, 5 nights no sleep. I get here, it's like paradise here today. I think outside Well, when we went walking this morning, it was in the 70s. It was beautiful. We walked around the entire perimeter of the RV park, which is about 1.5 miles or 2 miles. I can't remember which, but it was a beautiful stroll. The weather was gorgeous. There was a light breeze blowing, and Zephy just had fun. I mean, she walked beautifully on the leash today. One of the best walks that she's ever done. Wasn't pulling me off in too many directions. She walked beautifully. She actually walked at heel today some of the way, which was awesome. Not quite at heel, because at heel they're supposed to be like tucked in beside you and looking up at you for the next direction, not looking where they're going. But she did walk nicely beside me as well. So she was kind of sort of at heel because she was in the heel position, but her head was sort of like swiveling like a little, oh, what's over here? Oh, can I go over here? And I'm sort of like, nope. So she did really, really well on that walk this morning, and it was a great walk. It was good to be able to get outside and just walk. The last few days, the 5 days we spent in India, it was basically out of the RV, over the back of the lot, across the road and into the dog park. Let her run around. Yes, I would run around a little bit with her. And then we'd go back to the RV and both of us would just go, bleh. But, so today, after like 5 days no sleep, plus the drive yesterday, brain completely fried. I had an accountability call today, and my accountability coach said to me, she says, you need to write things down. And I said, like a light bulb went bing, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I said, you just hit the nail on the head. She says, what's the problem? I said, she says, why, what did I do? And I said, you told me to write things down. And I said, that's how I unfry my brain, is I sit and I write. And I said, I haven't written for several days. And she says, well, then you need to write. You need to sit down and you need to start writing. And I said, well, first of all, I'm going to go take a nap because my brain's dead right now. I was awake enough to know that. So I went and had a delicious nap. Zephy came and laid in and curled up against me. So when I take a nap, there's no body pillows used. It's just lay on the bed and curl up and go to sleep. And she comes and curls up in the hollow that the front of my body creates. And she snuggles up there. But for some reason, she has to put the butt end towards my face and her head's towards my knees. Somehow she sleeps better that way. And then she gets up and circles around and ends up in the same position. I'm like, do I really need to sleep with your butt in my face? And she just puts her head up, looks at me, puts her head back down and goes to sleep. Great. But while I have my 30-minute power nap, I put the Instapot on and threw some steel cut oats into there to make some porridge. And of course, by the time that was done, my nap was done. By the time my nap was done, that was ready, and I enjoyed this great one. And I found these chocolate chips that have they're espresso chocolate chips, and they have real coffee in the chocolate chips. So I'm a little bzzz at the moment because I sprinkled some of those over the top of the oatmeal. It was really good, and I had some cream. Put some cream in there with my espresso chocolate chips. Late lunch, it was awesome. So I am now here, and so I've been doing that. And so my business tip for you today, because as I said yesterday, we're going to be doing Facebook Lives. We're now extended the challenge. We did the year, that's fine. Where were we going to go with it next? What were we going to do with it next? And on Monday in the training, it suddenly dawned on me, why don't I go for 3 years? I've already got day 405 under the belt. I think I worked out 1,096 days in total, and I've already got 405 of them done. So we're going to go through the 31st of July 2022, Facebook Live at least once a day, sometimes twice, sometimes 3, depending on what we're doing, what we're seeing, where we are, all of that sort of thing. And as I said yesterday, we're going to be starting doing new things. We're going to be giving you some business tips, some marketing tips, some genealogy tips, some RV living tips. Things about living in the RV maintenance. When we get out there to do some maintenance and stuff, we'll do some lives on those as well. So we're going to be starting to incorporate a lot more of, instead of being more of a daily journal, like it has been, it's going to be a little more involved. So your business thing today is, who do you know? And the who do you know comes about is who is your ideal client. If somebody was to knock at your door today and you opened it and your ideal client was standing there, who are they? And then when you work out who that person is, how old, what age are they? Are they male or female? Are they married, divorced, widowed? Are they single? Are they, what is their annual income that they earn? How many cars do they have? Do they own their home or do they rent? Do they have more than one home? Do they have more than one car? Do they have any kids? Are they empty nesters? How old are the kids? Do they have cats, dogs, fish, birds, pets? whatever that wants to include. Do they live on a ranch? Do they live in suburbia? Do they live in an apartment? Do they live in a condo? So everything, what type of job do they have? Who do you know? And then what we want you to do is we want you to put in the comments who your ideal avatar is. What is your client avatar? And then if you are reading, and then I want everybody to read through the comments, and if you know somebody that fits one of those avatars, and remember, the more specific you are, the more referable you become, because here's what happens. As if you just say, oh, well, I take anybody, people with skincare. There's, oh, I just take anybody with skin. As soon as you say anybody, all, everything, somebody, someone, what happens to your brain? It just goes, I don't know anybody with skin. So you got to get a little more specific. I'm looking for somebody who has oily skin, or who has who gets a lot of breakouts on their skin. I'm looking for somebody, so think about those things. I'm looking for somebody who has the darkest skin, who still needs that sunscreen on them, or I'm looking for somebody who is fair-skinned, who can burn easily. You got to get more specific, because the more specific you are, the more referable you become. So when you get very specific on your avatar, we're going to talk about what you do with that avatar next. So we want you to come up, so your task for today, yes, you're going to get a task every night in one way or another. Your task for today is to create your client avatar and then post it in the comments below. And we want you to do this because we then want people to, after you put your avatar in, go back and read the other avatars that are listed. And then what we want you to do is, if one of the avatars sort of reminds you of somebody, contact that person and find out more about what it is they do. So for example, if John goes in there and puts that his avatar is, married, male, age 53, 2 kids, 2 teenagers, so a 15-year-old and a 17-year-old. He owns his own home. He has a holiday house up at Lake Tahoe. I'm just pulling this off the top of my head. I have no clue. He earns around $198,000 a year. He is a computer programmer. And you start listing out all of this. Then you might turn around and go through that and go, oh, I know somebody who fits that description that John's written. What does John do? Now you need to go and connect with John and say to him, hey, I saw your avatar. What is it that you do? And can I learn more about your business? So now we've got you networking. So, and that's your opening, is that you saw their avatar and you want to know more about what they do. And then you exchange information. What do you do? What do they do? And you exchange the information, and then you set up times to talk. Get on Zoom, get on the phone. Zoom preferably, because we want face-to-face. You want to see the facial expressions. I'm sorry. Facial expressions give away so much. And we want you to connect with those people and find out what it is they do. Is it somebody that you would feel comfortable referring the person that you know that fits John's avatar to John for whatever business he's in? So it could be that John might be a life insurance agent, for example. And you talk to your friend, and your friend you find out that he's looking for an insurance agent, and you happen to see that you talk with John, who's an insurance agent, you feel comfortable with him, or you exchange information backwards and forwards for a bit, get to know the person, and then you can refer your friend to John, and now they're connected, because John was looking for somebody with life insurance, you found somebody whose avatar was John's, and magic happens. So that's just the thing to start with, is who is your client avatar? Post your avatars below, read the other avatars. When you find the other avatars, contact that person, especially if you know somebody who fits that avatar. Contact the person who posted that avatar and find out more about what they do, and get networking. Okay? So we're getting you out there and we're getting you networking, but first we want you to figure out who is your client avatar and put them in the comments below, and then connect with people who you find in there that you know, somebody that where their avatar rings a bell for somebody that you know. Okay, and the more specific you are, the more referable you become. And you're going to go, what do you mean by that? You know what? It's very simple. Should I tell you today or wait till tomorrow? Oh, I'll be kind. So the reason that you do, think about a funnel. Okay, you're pouring liquid into the top and that little stream comes out at the bottom. When you're pouring the stuff into the top, that is the all, the everybody, the everything, and everything else. So here's the thing that I learned as a caregiver. This is a caregiver's tip that I learned, which can be applied to any business. It can be applied to life, period. Business, personal life, whatever. It can be applied. When you turn around to somebody who has, they've had somebody that's transitioned, they have somebody who is seriously ill, you know that they need a hand and you want to offer help. If you turn around to that person and say, if there's anything I can do, please let me know. That person, it is now on that person to figure out what they need help with and then figure out who they need to ask. And what happens when it's because somebody said that anything thing, if there's anything I can do for you, please let me know. And I myself was guilty of this. And I woke up to it one day and went, oh my God. Because now you're offering your help, but you want them to tell you what you need to do. And now it's putting more stress on them when they're in a situation where they're already stressed out because they've had a loved one that's transitioned. They're now having to deal with a whole new world, or they've got somebody who's got a terminal illness or somebody who has a chronic illness. And again, their world's been turned upside down. And now you're putting more stress on them to come up with something for you to do, and you are offering the help. So instead, you could turn around and say to them, hey, Joe, I see, sorry to hear that... sorry to hear about what's going on with you. Hey, I'm taking little Johnny to soccer practice on Tuesday. Can I come and pick up your kids for soccer practice as well? And I'll take them off to soccer practice, give them dinner, and then bring them home. What time would you like me to bring them home? All they have to do is go, yes, no. That's simple. They can do that. It's no stress. Because if you turn and say, if there's anything I can do, they're like, oh, what can I get them to? Oh my gosh. Well, I've got to get them to the doctor. I've got to do this. And then they just like, forget it. I'll just do it myself. Because they can't think of anything to give you. Because all of a sudden, that anything that just wipes the brain. It's a magic word. It just goes, shh. Anything, everyone. Shh. So they could turn around and say, and Joe could turn around and say, that would be great if you can take little Stevie to soccer practice with you, and would you mind making sure he does his homework as well? They're like, sure. We'll take him to soccer practice, take him home. They can do their homework together. We'll give Stevie dinner, and then we'll bring him home. What time would you like him home by? Oh, if you could get him home by 7, that would be really good. Excellent. Okay. So you put that in your planner, and now that's something that they no longer have to worry about, because they know that on Tuesday you're going to be picking up Stevie, taking him to soccer practice, getting his homework done, giving him a meal, and bringing him home. Now all of a sudden that's freed up their time where they don't have to take Stevie to soccer practice, they don't have to worry about his homework, they don't have to worry about his dinner that night, and it gives them a little bit of free time to do something else that they need to do. So when you're asking somebody if they need help, be specific. Hey, I'm going to the grocery store. Can I pick you up a lasagna for dinner? Can I pick you up a roast chicken for dinner? With some side, what sides would you like to go with it? Would you like some coleslaw? Would you like some mashed potatoes? Would you like potato salad? When you start doing things where they just have to make a yes/no decision or make a very quick decision, it helps a lot. It's the same when it comes to working out who your ideal client is. When you turn around and specifically say, this is my ideal client, this is my service, this is my ideal client. Now people can turn around and go, oh, hang on, I knew, and like they teach you this in networking groups when you go to networking meetings. They teach you, ask for a person, their position, the company that they're in, the industry that they're in. Because say, for example, one time I was asking I wanted an introduction into pastors to do religious tours to Israel. And so I picked one of the local churches and said, I would like an introduction to Pastor Joe Bloggs, who is the head pastor at Southwind Presbyterian Church, or whatever the name of the church was, because we would like to connect with him about doing religious tours to Israel to give his congregation more, to help his congregation feel things from the Bible come alive. Visit places that are mentioned in the Bible and bring them alive for them. And when you get very specific like that, they say, hey, I don't know that pastor at that church, but I go to this church and I can introduce you, and I know my pastor there. Would that work? So they start working backwards. Do I know Joe Bloggs? No. Do I know a pastor? Yes, I know a pastor. But he doesn't work at that church. He works at a different church. Is that okay? Absolutely. So they start working with the least common denominator and start working backwards. So remember that funnel. You're looking for what comes out the nozzle at the end, and you work backwards to what you're putting into the top of the funnel. So that's my tip, and that's why you get more specific, because when you say all, everything, and all that, like this one always cracks me up. Well, with skincare people, I've heard so many skincare people who sell skincare products that turn and say, "Oh, we deal with anybody with skin," and as soon as you hear anybody, whoosh, brain goes white. I don't know nobody with skin. But seriously, anytime, think about all the times that somebody has said to you, anybody, everything. Think of conversations that you've had with people, especially about when you're networking with people, and you go, well, who's your ideal client? And they go, well, anybody with skin, and your mind just goes, oh, I don't know anybody with skin. Or, people who drive cars. Oh, anybody who drives a car. Oh, I don't know anybody who drives a car. I tell you that anybody, something, somebody, that all-encompassing words, they wipe the brain. It is incredible how that happens. But anyway, that is your marketing tip for today. Who do you know? So it is, who is your client avatar? Put them in the comments below. Check out other people's avatars. Do they ring any bells for somebody that you know? And if they do, connect with the person who posted the avatar. Find out what it is that they do. Why are they looking for that particular avatar? Because it could be that your friend who that person sounds like, that they wrote about, could be their ideal client, could be the person they're looking for, and your friend could also be looking for to be matched up with that person who does whatever it is that they do. Does that make sense? It's clear as mud. Love it. Excellent. All right. That's it from me for today. Have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we will see you tomorrow, because tomorrow is Thankful Thursday. So have a great evening. Make it super fantastic and sparkling. Hei konera.